Do you have a set format? Anything?
Yeah, very strict format.
What questions you can ask?
No questions at all. The jazz part's on.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board to another episode of Prosperity Point. Jack, it's an absolute pleasure to have you, mate.
Same here. Thank you, Sean.
And I'll be honest, I had a lot of fun with you doing our first ever podcast, which was for our 10-year anniversary, right? That's what we had launched Prosperity Point on.
That's right.
And that was a little bit about reminiscing about the past, looking forward onto the future.
That's correct. It was all about, past and vision.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure that we'll have more vision talks because I think one of the things we're going to be talking about is manifesting in the future and how that helps a lot in your success, right?
Yes.
Today, however, is a little bit more reality-based, which is what can we control today to make our lives tomorrow better? So it's all about, proper management of money, financial discipline, what are the steps that people can take to actually go ahead. I'll just probably give everyone some context as well. When we're doing a lot of investment planning for our clients, which you're well aware of, you've been doing it for more than 10 years now. We always ask people these sorts of questions that seem very basic, but are very hard to answer.
Yeah.
Right? It goes back to the same thing before we talk about, which is the things that are easy to do are the things that are easy not to do as well. So the simple question is, how much can you save per month? And people struggle answering this question probably, I would say, 95% of the time. At least 9 out of 10 clients that I meet always struggle to answer this. What do you think the reason is for that?
I think I haven't seen anyone taking a time, sitting down and saying, yeah, I have done my budgeting. Maybe one in 100. Yes, you have come across those smart clients who have already budgeted it. I think the biggest reason I always think is no one gives they know money is important, but no one gives as important to the money. What I mean by that is, let me explain. Once Zig Ziglar, he said...
Oh, yeah, Zig Ziglar.
Yeah.
You're talking about the author and coach?
Author and coach,
okay.
Zig Ziglar, yeah. Once he said that, see, money is not everything, but it's reasonably important.
Mm-hmm.
Money is not everything, but it's reasonably important, similar as oxygen. What I mean by that is, when day-to-day life, I have a recent example.
Please do share. Go on.
Yeah, I love sharing stories. And this is a story from my personal life, one of my families back home in India.
Okay.
And, during this COVID hit, one of the families, the husband got sick.
Okay.
They got hit with the COVID.
Okay.
And I was literally surprised to hear that they were not worried about the COVID illness or sickness. Mm-hmm. They were more worried about how we going to pay the hospital bill.
So they had to pay for the hospital bills back home in India from their pocket. It's not like how we have it here.
No. So in a private hospital, so you have to pay everything.
Yeah.
And this is a middle class family, they live a nice life, they go on holidays, they celebrate, and they all that. And when you look from outside, you said, wow, I've always thought they are a nice family, well off, middle class, but I realized that this is a big disease we have, that we never sit down and do budgeting. We always, and if I were to do a budgeting for them, I am sure I would find out that they would earn $1 and they spend $1.20.
Makes sense, right?
And that when a situation hits, they panic because the biggest thing is it's close to oxygen. It's reasonably close to oxygen. Mm-hmm. See, they were not worried about the sickness, but they were more worried about how we're gonna pay the hospital bill.
Yeah.
So I see that, when you sit down with clients, when they don't do budgeting, you say, mate, no point of talking for future if we cannot control over today, if we cannot manage today well.
Yeah. And I suppose when you're talking about budgets as well, is it because it's just boring? Do you think that's why a lot of people don't bother getting into the nitty-gritty? Because I think budgeting, simple as the other goals we have, which is, we talk a lot about having SMART goals, right?
Yes.
SMART goals are your specific, measurable, attainable, so forth, so on. And when you've got a goal to, let's say, maybe lose weight, some people just say, I want to be fit. But unless you define what that fitness is or what fit looks like to you, then how would you actually get yourself on track to achieving it? Same way with budgeting. People have an idea in their mind, but I don't think it's written down or tracked. So what do you think the motivating pull is to get someone, because we know that 95% of people don't budget anyway.
Yeah.
They just have the budget in their minds, and then worst case, some people have no clue as well what they're doing with their money. So what do you think motivates people to actually set something up disciplined and give themselves that clarity to know what they can set aside?
Again, there's a different motivation for different people.
Mm-hmm.
But I think knowing the reality is important. Sitting down, pausing yourself and seeing, if I keep doing what I'm doing right now, where would I end up in 10 years' time? Or other way to look at it is, I've been working hard for the last 10 years and I still struggle to have enough money. So where the hell I'm doing wrong? Because see, most people I know, they're hard workers. They work hard. There is no doubt that they are lazy or they maintain their lifestyle. They do everything. But even after working for 15, 20 years, they still cannot see. They still have the fear of not having enough money when they retire. So we can learn from the past and see where the hell I'm doing wrong. So we can, either you can be motivated, so learning from the past, or you could be motivated by creating a wonderful future.
I think that's what we're wired like.
Yeah.
We're
so
more futuristic that way.
We both have that strength of thinking futuristic, living in this future. But we can learn from both. So if someone is, we are driven by fear, or we are driven by a gain. If you're driven by gain, then you think about future, sit down and say, how do I want to see my future look like? And if you're driven by fear, then you look back and say, if I keep doing what I'm doing right now, and where the hell I'm going to end up? And it's very predictable. If you are young, energetic, you worked hard, and you are in those 50s now or 40s, and you still cannot see your future, I think the future is very predictable then. Because after 40, we start deteriorating. Our energy level goes on, our priorities changes. We see that now we have to spend more time with family. So if we can't do then, that means now is the time to sit down and take a time for yourself to budget.
And budgeting is just simply clarity, right? So it's about tracking certain things. For example, if we know what we're able to set aside, we'll be able to track with a high level of accuracy how fast we can pay off certain assets as well, pay off certain debts, how fast you can be mortgage free. A lot of people have this wishful thinking. I'll share my own example. So my father's example of wishful thinking, even though he's an extremely hard worker, probably works 10 times harder than I do, but that's where I get my work ethic from. He used to say things like, we'll be mortgage free in 5 years, in the year. And then I used to always go back and say, yes, even though I'm a bigger dreamer than he was, I would say, okay, how would you do that? What's the plan? And there was no plan. And I'd say, so let's break it down into per month. Here's what we need to do to be mortgage free in 5 years, for example.
That's right.
But people don't bother making, the plan in terms of what's the step-by-step approach. They just declare something, and then halfway through, you either have two choices, I feel. You either give up or you try again. So I think budgeting plays that important role where it gives you clarity to actually map out your own personal freedoms. At the end of the day, it's about, some people I feel have the mindset where I don't earn enough, so there's no point worrying about it. I've just got my future sorted. But I've seen...
Same thing, Sean. It goes with the people who earn more as well.
They
say, I earn enough, I don't have to worry about the future, so they spend everything all. And there are people who earn less and they think, I don't earn enough, so I don't need to budget.
That's right.
So both people fall into the same trap.
And the truth is, it's not about how much you make. It's only about how much you keep and what you do with it. And I feel like that goes back to what we were talking a little bit about last time, which is it's about what we can control, right? If we can't control external circumstances, about, I don't know what my job is going to be 10 years from now, or lately I've been working with a lot of people that are planning out their investment journeys, and they're saying we might be in a completely different industry 5 years from now. So half of these plans, they might disappear.
Yes.
And then my response to that is, well, what would you say, for example? Let's say we've worked out a great investment strategy. This looks good for the next 10 years, and I'm happy. But, Jack, my whole industry is going to change in the next 5 years. I might not even have a job. So what's the point of doing this planning?
Right. That's a very interesting thing. I would say, you set up a destination, but you need to recheck all the time. What I mean by that, if you want to go to West, and you don't check that if you're heading on the right direction, do a planning. What I would say is check on it every year. Check on it every, like a GPS.
Yeah.
If you miss a turn, like last week I was driving from Sydney to Bella Vista.
Yep.
And I missed a turn from Chatswood.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have the GPS on, it would have taken me ever to reach there, because I would have gone outside and then finding that, coming back to the highway would have been, I would have reached, but it would have been delayed, right? So the GPS only helps you that, okay, you missed exit, but there is another way you can turn a U-turn, come back, and you can catch the highway again, and you can be on track again. So similarly, if you have a goal, setting up is important, but in the middle, if you miss that exit and something happens, you still know the GPS, the mental GPS will keep you back into track. But if you don't have a mental GPS set, if you miss a track, you'll keep running towards south, where it's supposed to go on the west.
That's right. And I feel that's why accountability with your circle and accountability with who you set up these goals with is super important, right?
Yes.
A lot of people don't even have relationships with their accountant. When we ask people, do you have an accountant? They say, yeah, I've got an accountant. And I say, okay, well, what do you do with the accountant? How often do you catch up with the accountant?
Once a year.
Once a year, I don't even catch up with them. I just send them my summaries, and I get my tax return, and that's the maximum relationship I share. But the truth is, if you had a healthy relationship, they'd be saying, let's sit down properly. Let's look at where all your gaps are. How can we improve a few things? And then let's plan actively for the next tax year. So I feel that's what we try and do differently, which is helping people take a bit more control of their future finances. And I say this all the time, right? If World War III happens 10 years from now and everything's not worth anything, then nothing matters anyway. So
it reminds me of a interesting joke.
Yeah, tell me.
See, in the budgeting, people always get surprised to see that, wow, this is where I spend, and I can still save that money. Always see that money saving in the end. And then you look at, if you keep saving that money over the last 10 years, you would have been, this much money you would have.
Yeah.
But if I'm not spending enough, if there is a buffer on a spreadsheet, where the hell my money is going? So there is a joke there. There's a guy says, how much do you drink? Do you drink every day? He's drinking, and he asks you, do you drink? He said, yes. How much money do you spend on drinking? And he said, maybe, $50 a day.
Wow.
Just for example.
Nice.
So he said $50 times, times a year, 30 days. What is that? 50 times 30 is...
So like 300, if you're looking at 50 by, let's say, a week, 5 days a week, 250.
Yeah.
So 250, and you're looking at all the weeks in the year?
1,000.
50, yeah.
And then it's, 12,000?
Yeah.
12,000
upwards of it, I think.
Yeah. And you've been drinking for, 10 years? 120?
120 grand.
Yeah.
Ouch.
And then you've been drinking for 20 years, so 240,000. But even if you're spending $20, 20 years is $120,000. He said, Mike, if you would have stopped drinking, you could have a nice Merc. You would be driving a nice Merc today. And that guy listens and listens, and he says, right, by the way, do you drink? He said, no, I don't drink. He's saying, where the hell did your Mercedes?
That's right.
So it's easy to see when we are tracking that, I can save. It's easy to say that I can save, but when you do actually, you are never able to save. The reason is there is a big disease called instant gratification.
Yeah.
That is the killer in 21st century. That is the killer for the future generation.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. I was sitting with one of the client.
Yeah.
It was my very early days,
Mm-hmm.
and I was sitting in his apartment. They had a newborn baby, and they bought one toy for the baby. And then he said, "I like that nice car, what toy car," and I bought it. It was 2 years ago, and he didn't even open that car. I said, "What the hell?" Oh, yeah, that's instant gratification. He felt like that's a nice toy. I'm getting one I'll just buy for myself. But you never use it. That's a wastage of money. And there is people have been consciously trapped in that mindset.
Yeah.
How? By giving them the free credit card.
Yeah.
Plastic money.
That's right. Interest-free credit card that they think is free money.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not, and that's a beginning.
Yeah.
What they say, digging your grave through your own wallet.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like the saying that they have when it's about going broke. You don't go broke out of nowhere. It happens slowly over time, and then suddenly you realize you're broke.
It's compound, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Everything is compounded. Either you do well in life. See, wherever we are today, it's because of our small decisions and choices we made in the past.
That's right.
Those get compounded, and then people say you are lucky, or Matt, you are very unlucky. Sorry, unfortunately, it happened to you. But now, life never happened. It was created step by step and compounded.
Yeah.
When you talk about compounding, my mind goes into the books, and you have read the book, The Compound Effect.
One of my favorite of all time.
And that's what an interesting analogy, if you have $1 and which doubles every day for the next 30 days compared to, $3 million, which one would you pick?
Yeah.
And when you ask this, most people say, $3 million. What is that? Instant gratification. I want it today. But life never happens today.
Yeah.
It is the result of what you have done. So the dollar becomes 2 and 4, and you probably know how much does it becomes after 30 days?
Yeah, we did. It was upwards of 500 mil.
Yeah, $536 million. Whereas, if you take that one, similarly, if you start investing early, if you start budgeting early.
Yeah.
See, 2 principles I think I would love to teach my kids is budget and save, and invest and make.
Yeah.
Budgeting itself won't help. You need to budget and save, and what is left, you need to invest and then make.
Yeah.
So your money is also working for you.
Definitely. And when you're looking at, for example, the world that has this instant gratification society that we live in right now,
yes,
you've got things like not only free credit cards, there's also buy now, pay later services, right? Which has taken...
Oh, that's the next level.
Yeah, it's the next level because you see that you're not paying anything extra out of your pocket. But when you look into your pocket, I've got people that are in my circle that are doing very well that don't tend to use these things. Then I've got people in my circle that aren't doing very well financially that love using these services. What do you think attracts people down that train of thought where it's, hey, I know I'm going to get paid $1,000 next week and I need to buy this supercomputer, let's say, or this gaming device or whatever it might be, entertainment. And I'll buy it now because I just have to make 4 installments or 10 installments and then I pay no fees out of my pocket. I feel that's just the next level of keeping you in that race, keeping you in that trap. What do you reckon?
I think deep down, it's a human thing of keeping up with Joneses. So they see, especially with the social media, people only post those fancy things. I bought this or I did this, I went on holidays. So they feel like they want to do it as well. And the worst part of that is, go on holidays and pay later.
Oh. Yeah. You were sharing last time a story about even someone who had gone on holidays with borrowed money, right?
That's it.
So Yeah, that is a bit scary, but it's like we've heard of stories of people withdrawing their super during COVID and buying Gucci bags and Louis Vuitton.
Oh my God, that was it was a shock to me.
Yeah,
Saying, yeah, mate, that's why are you killing your future?
yeah,
You're killing your future self and using money to show off. And that bag, what's the value gonna be after 10 years? And no one gonna look at you. Maybe and you're not gonna carry that every day. Maybe on a couple of nice parties. That's it.
yeah.
And I think be wealthy inside out, not outside in.
That's a good saying. I like that one.
Yeah.
Be wealthy inside out, not outside in.
So what I mean is, you don't have to show off those things. If you are wealthy, just stay calm. Be inside and enjoy. Have that the mental peace.
Yeah.
And when you are wealthy outside you may look glamorous and polished, but inside you are stressed all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I bought that bag, but now I went on holidays. That enjoyment is only stays for a small period of time, and after that you come back from holidays. Now you have to pay for that holiday debt, and I can't imagine living that life.
That's ridiculous. Jack, I think it's perfect time for a bit of a chocolate break. I love doing these chocolate breaks in the morning, and I know you love chocolate the same way I do.
I love my sweets.
So hang on right there. Here we go. So this episode is not brought to you by Toblerone, but we can enjoy some.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When you put things out, some people think, oh, this may be advertisement.
Nah, I don't think we're getting endorsed by Toblerone anytime soon. I did make a joke last time when I had our previous guest on, who was James Brunacci, and I said that the whole episode was brought to us by Glory Jeans when it clearly wasn't.
Yeah.
So, yeah. In talking about, financial discipline, instant gratification versus, long-term wealth creation, I think there is a time and a place when you can make yourself happy with the wealth that you've created, or you can make yourself happy with the resources. But I feel it's always this constant battle of, should I do something good with my money, or should I enjoy that holiday? And I feel a lot of these sort of decisions end up being based around your social circle and what your social circle's doing. So, for example, if you find yourself in a social circle where it's all about picking up, let's say, designer clothing, designer brands, and when a good paycheck comes in or when a bonus comes in, it's all about spending as opposed to investing. I've noticed that there are trends that different social circles enjoy different hobbies. So, for example, there are people with expensive hobbies and there are people with inexpensive hobbies. For example, taking a walk along a beach. Do you enjoy that?
I love that.
And how much does it cost you?
Nothing. And that's the most enjoyable thing I ever have,
Really?
Getting up in the morning, going for a walk, on the beach or close by water. I think I was telling you on the other day that, it's so, doesn't matter how hard you have worked during the day or on the weekend, you just go for that water, look at the water, you are energized. I think we were talking about something that we are, what's the reason behind it? And we're saying, we are 70% body is water.
Yeah.
So that's why maybe, it's relaxing.
And all of our civilizations are built around water as well.
Yeah.
Maybe for the tranquility element.
Yes. So, yeah, it's a very good point. Enjoyment, the happiness, fake happiness can be there because, the materialistic happiness can give you happiness only a short period of time because there's always something to look for more. But this type of happiness doesn't cost you anything. And I was giving an example to one of my family. They want to live a nice life, but they give an excuse of not having money to spend quality time with kids.
Right.
And I said, no, that's not right. Because going to park and spending time in the park with kids doesn't cost you anything. Going on a beach with the kids doesn't cost you anything. Playing a game with kids. I play Uno with my kids.
Yeah, great.
And, it doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
So people just
apart from just the acquisition cost of, for example, getting to the beach, driving there,
Yeah.
and buying the Uno cards, which is what, $2.
Yeah. But we come with those, high
Excuses. Yeah.
But whereas you can, what I'm trying to say here is, you can still live a great life, and you can still build a future.
Yeah. Do you feel people are conditioned that if there's people out there that are doing well, having success in either business or investments, do you feel that society has, or the media maybe, has conditioned people to think that they're doing something wrong? Is that's the reason that they're successful, and the majority of people are just stuck working? Do you feel there's a bit of a part of that going on? A lot of people have this tall poppy syndrome in Australia, right?
Yeah.
Someone's doing really well, let's tear them right down.
Yes. I think this is a social pressure. And I can give you an example which is not related to money.
Yeah.
But it's still socially awkward, people will say. I went for a meditation retreat.
Yeah.
And, some people thought I'm going to turn into monk. Or when you say I spend 10 minutes with kids doing the meditation, people think, that's not normal, And I was having a chat with one of the other meditator, saying, why don't you think this should be a skill taught in schools? Why they don't teach it? Because no one sit down and think that people think meditation is woo-woo thing,
voodoo stuff,
but actually it is. Now I'm going deeper. I'll connect that with the money part soon, but that's a thing about going deeper level, and this is a mental exercise. That means you are living in present when itch of instant gratification hits. You don't have a mental tool to stop it. So if you can connect, if you are living in that present, and if that itch, I'm connecting here to instant gratification, but could be anything, your anger, but if you are getting upset, but you can realize that my mind is taking me into a thought which gonna take me upset, so how can I bring it back? It's just a tool to exercise. Same thing, that tool can be used when you are going on a shopping, or when you feel like I want to have that. And you if you have that mental strength, that exercise, if you're doing that, then you can say that, nah, that's a temporary thing. Let's step back. And in a lot of the times, once you come out of the shopping center and you forget about it, you don't even crave about it. It's just in that moment. And if you control that, then that tool can help you to budget and stick to the budget which you have created. It's not, the problem is not the budgeting. Some people have done the budgeting, and then when you catch up with them after a year,
they still felt like they had to have that car at that time and just go crazy and purchase it, right? Maybe because they didn't control that 10 minutes.
10 minutes, yes.
Yeah.
So that exercise actually helps.
Wow, makes sense. And when people are talking about social pressure as well, it's interesting that you mentioned that. I think slowly what I have noticed over the last 10 years specifically is there's more of a social pressure to have things, like have material items, but slightly less of a social pressure to become successful. Like it's almost like a paradox, right? We want to have the nice things, like the fancy clothes, the fancy car, but slowly I felt that there is a bit of a pressure saying that if you're going out there and if you're being successful and if you're doing really well, that's not life, or that's not what you need to be doing. So people are happy being in this important zone, which is actually a very deadly zone called the comfort zone. And I feel sometimes subconsciously people try and pull you back once you start exceeding and going outside your comfort zone. What have you seen people in your own circle telling you to slow down, you've already done something, you've already achieved it now, just enjoy the rest of your life? Like what I'm sure you would have had people that you used to associate with 10 years ago that maybe are in the same position that they were. And then you've got people that you're, meeting with and collaborating with that are new, but you're still going to the next level. Because I know you're growth minded, but how do you feel society's pressure is for the other group?
I think one of the advice I got in early stage that has really helped me is the books you read and the people you meet will change your life.
Mm-hmm.
So if you read the right books and if you surround yourself with the right people, they'll pull you up. But even if you read different books, watch different things, and then you surround yourself with the people, your life will be attracted towards that. So it works either way. So I always thought that I have to read those books, wisdom, and then I have to be surrounded with those people who are like-minded. And sometimes in the beginning of my career, it was very hard to find someone like-minded, because when you are living in Mount Road, you are surrounded with those type of people. There is no choice. So at that time I made a conscious decision that where can I find those people, and I used to started going to a lot of seminars and connecting with those people. If I'm not connecting, at least I'm mentally listening to the speaker and learning the stuff, and at least my inner world, I have made my own friends.
Yeah.
Because I see that as a challenge, because in the beginning people say, yeah, it's easy for you because you have that network now, or you talk to those like-minded people. But in the beginning it's challenging. I get that.
Yeah.
So in the beginning you need to create your own friends or habits to reading books and surrounded being with those people, which you cannot afford to become friends with them, but at least you can go and listen to them.
No, definitely. And because we've got the internet today, we can choose pretty much to listen to podcasts while we drive. We can just listen to audiobooks about, money management, what to do, and funnily enough, how to invest as well, which is good. But still, people get attracted to listening to music instead while they drive, right? That's the easier pick.
Yeah, music or if you talk about, yes, everything is available online. YouTube got lots of wisdom, and YouTube got lots of crap. So it's not that, again, the tools are not there. Tools are there, but you will only listen to, or you will only be attracted to listening to what you want to listen to, is how you are trained subconsciously. We human beings love gossips.
Yeah.
And that's when there is a radio talk going on, or YouTube, all the crap news about an argument between, they may have no relationship in your life.
Yeah, like Trump and Biden, for example.
Yeah, but you are excited to know what they are doing, and then after that the hype is over, you come to a next topic, and that's it.
I'll share something really interesting with you. So, and this is for everyone, maybe watching at home or watching in the car or wherever you find us. I would encourage you to take your phone, and this is for everyone, by the way. Take your phone and type it on the search bar on YouTube, and look at your last 10 searches. Where you are today, a heavy product is of what is the result of those last 10 searches. People at home will be shocked that, oh my goodness, I am where I am because of what my content has been. And it might surprise you, but it works every single time. I've tried it with some friends. They sort of take a step back because they look at saying, yeah, I know, I wanted to know about that because of this reason, or I want to know about that because of another reason, but I didn't think that that's where my life was heading. So you'll be able to see that if you're interested in entertainment, you'll just be entertained, but you'll stay in the same spot.
Yeah.
If you're interested in progress, you'll realize that, okay, what are those things that you've done towards progress or learning or achievement? And it's not all about the money, but I feel it's more about the growth side of things.
That's right.
It's about making progress and informed decisions, which is half as more fulfilling as just the money component.
It's interesting what you said.
Look at your last 10 searches.
Last 10 searches.
Yeah.
But more interesting to that is like attracts likes. what it means on YouTube or in Google, basically what you search, they'll show you the same content.
Exactly.
So you go from that content to that content to that content into the deeper shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas if you read, listening to a same thing, like attracts like, on a good books or a good motivational speech or a good stories which inspires you, then the YouTube and Google, they start showing you what you are interested in. It's like, that's a perfect example of we attract who we are.
Yeah. And like attracts like, even in the digital sense now.
Yeah.
Because they want to target you and they want to sell you. Got to keep selling.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's interesting. Is there anything you'd like to share with people out there to help them find a new source of motivation? We've got 2020 is behind everyone now, but that being said, 2021 is a very exciting year. Economy's in a full rampant kickstart. A lot of great things going on. There are going to be people that wait on the sidelines, right? As always. And there are going to be people that are actually doers, not thinkers, actual doers. So they sit down, put the budget down, say, this year I'm going to achieve X, Y, and Z. For the people that are on the fence, what would you say to them to just tip over to the greener side?
In my seminars, I talk about the 5 Ds.
Yes.
And I want to leave everyone with this 1 D. And that D can be implemented in anything, in budgeting or budgeting your psychology, or doing, if you are in the middle of the fence. I would say that's a third D of that 5 Ds. It's, say, delete. Delete your bad habits. If you're procrastination, you are a procrastination, delete it. If you are analysis paralysis person, delete it. Know enough to make a decision, but don't get lost in that analysis paralysis. If you do the budgeting and you see there are the things which you not supposed to do, or spend less outside, or wherever your financial situation may be, delete it. Delete the content which you've been searching, which is keeping you where you are today. That YouTube search you talked about.
Yeah.
Delete it.
Yeah.
So my advice to everyone is delete those bad habits. Delete the bad debts. Or put a strategy to what I can do now, so I start deleting my bad debts.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. That's awesome. And I want to hear more about the other 4 Ds during the other podcast that we have in the future. But I think we've taken enough time this morning. It's been absolutely fun. I hope you had some fun as well.
Absolutely. I love having these chats. It's very conversational, and I just share. I just share what's in my heart.
Yeah, and that's what we want. I feel people need a source from people that have been there, done that, and have experienced the good and the bad.
Yeah.
So that they can always make the choice for themselves. You can always lead a horse to water, but you can't make everyone do what you would want them to do, right? But no, this has been fun. I'm excited for 2021, and I'm excited to have you on all over again, Jack.
Yes, I'm excited to not 2021, 2020, 50.
2020, 50.
2050.
Okay,
50.
I'd be very excited for 2020, 50 as well.
Yeah.
I won't be here physically. Maybe I might be. You never know.
You never know, but every day is excitement, actually.
Yeah.
I don't want to think that it's 2021, because that's another excuse.
Yeah.
Which we always see. This year I have done anything, but next year I'll do it. Again, it's a nicer way of procrastination.
That's right. And you realize this, right? When people head towards the end of the year, their brain switches off, their activity switch off. They just want to enjoy.
Yes.
And it's always the New Year resolution. But I think that's a topic for a different day, because we've got motivation lined up. We've got manifestation lined up as well.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I think today was fun.
Also, we'll talk about other Ds.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jack.
Thank you, Sean.
Let's get back into it.
Yes. Awesome.
Rock and roll.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.